It's been a month and one day since Nikolas Cruz massacred um, massacred people at the high school he was expelled from, and the trial has just begun. Uh, they have the judge entered a not guilty plea for him, and as you're probably aware, the public defender's office said that he was willing to plead guilty to avoid the death penalty. And so what we're going to have here is a trial, obviously, of course. And what's going to happen is it'll drag on. It'll cost a lot of money, like say anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million. That's how much a typical murder trial costs. And he will unless a miracle happens, he will be convicted on all counts. Now, he might get the death penalty. Well, he probably will get the death penalty. I would say there's a 90% chance he will get the death penalty. Or well, maybe a 95 or a 98 or a 99% chance he will get the death penalty. However, if they could prove like mental illness and developmental disabilities such as autism, depression, and they could save his life. His life could be spared. James Holmes was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Richard Speck also killed a lot of people and killed 8 nurses back in the 60s, and his life was also spared. It took a fight, but they managed to spare his life. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that he has developed mental disabilities, and he has mental illness, he has anxiety issues, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, his behavior according to the deputies who are responsible for incarcerating him, he is described as generally well behaved. He is kept in isolation at the moment for obvious reasons. And anyway, he keeps himself well groomed. He, as you know, if you've seen the footage, he will often look down like this a lot. Just like do shit like that. He has head down throughout most of the trial, like he was sleeping or something, like just. No. He generally they say he generally avoids eye contact, but will look you in the eye if you give him a command, and he will generally follow it according to the jail staff. And he's generally polite and all that shit. Anyway, it is noted that he said that there was this I think it was a doctor who shot killed 6 people with an AR-15 when he was disgruntled and the doctor's office fired him. Nikolas Cruz later posted something to the nature of, "I could so outdo that guy." Another thing he said that he wanted to be a quote-unquote professional school shooter. Whatever the hell that is. You'll have to ask him. Anyway, he showcased that these mass murderers are getting better. And, like, for example, a long time ago, Columbine was the standard by which all school shooters judge themselves. People kept saying they wanted to outdo Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. And eventually a guy named Shode outdid them at Virginia Tech. He even wrote a letter praising them, calling them martyrs and all that stuff. And anyway, there's just a lot of shit going on. He sometimes he'll refuse to come out of his cell for recreation and all that stuff. Anyway, the whole premise of trying him, it's a show trial from this point out. Everybody knows he's guilty. They're going to convict him, and they will probably give him the death penalty. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not saying he will get the death penalty. I'm not saying he won't. And he just might get not guilty by reason of insanity, but that is highly unlikely. And and by the way, insanity is not a medical term. It is a legal one. Remember that. Anyway, the whole issue here is that he's really stirred up a shitstorm, a political shitstorm, and social shitstorm. Nothing like this has been seen since Elliot Rodger. And, there's hashtags with him like with Elliot Rodger, like yes all women, no not all men, blah 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 blah. And Elliot Rodger awarded himself several titles, including the Supreme Gentleman, the True Alpha Male, and a God compared to all of you. Now, I personally just call him YouTube's most hated superstar. But enough about Elliot Rodger. Let's get back to Nikolas Cruz. Nikolas Cruz, given that he avoids eye contact and looks down a lot, he's probably autistic. And I think that, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. It'll probably be a death penalty. But I can't predict the future. I'm not Nostradamus. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace. And there will be more videos to come about Nikolas Cruz and others.